Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahanta Paribhaja Acharya Ashto Tarvata Srimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. A reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 7th Chapter, text number 15. Rishikanunikastasya Pradad Ubhayam Ishvara Dharmasya Tatpam Jnanam Cha Mam Abhyudishya Nirmalam Rishikarunikastasya Pradad Ubhayam Ishvara Dharmasya Tatpam Jnanam Cha Mam Abhyudishya Nirmalam Rishikarunikastasya Pradad Ubhayam Ishvara Dharmasya Tattvam Jnanam Cha Mam Abhyudishya Nirmalam Rishikarunikastasya Vaishnavi. Rishi, the great sage Narada Muni. Karunika, naturally very affectionate or merciful to the fallen souls. Tasyaha, to her, Pradat, gave instruction. Ubhayam, both. Ishvara, a powerful controller who can do whatever he likes. Narada Muni. Dharmasya, of religion. Tattvam, the truth. Jnanam, knowledge. Cha, and. Mam, me, api, especially Uddisha, indicating nirmalam, without material contamination. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Narada Muni delivered his instructions both to me, who was within the womb, and to my mother, who was engaged in rendering him service. Because he is naturally extremely kind to the fallen souls, being in a transcendental position, he gave instructions on religion and transcendental knowledge. These instructions were free from all material contamination. Everyone can please repeat. Narada Muni delivered his instructions both to me, who was within the womb, and to my mother, who was engaged in rendering him service. Because he is naturally extremely kind to the fallen souls, being in a transcendental position, he gave instructions on religion and transcendental knowledge. These instructions were free from all material contamination. Purports. Here it is said, Dharmasya tattvam jnanam cha, and then nirmala, ending nirmalam. The word nirmalam refers to spotless dharma, spotless religion, or in other words, Bhagavat dharma. Ordinary ritualistic activities constitute contaminated religion, which by one benefits by developing material wealth and prosperity, but uncontaminated pure religion consists of understanding one's relationship with God and acting accordingly, thus fulfilling the highest mission of life and returning back home, back to Godhead. Prasad Maharaj advised that one elevate oneself to the standard of Bhagavat Dharma from the very beginning of life. Kumar Acharit Pragyo Dharman Bhagavatam Iha. The Lord himself also speaks of pure, uncontaminated religion when he says, Sarva Dharmam Parichaja Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 1866. One must understand one's relationship with God and then act accordingly. This is Bhagavat Dharma. Bhagavat Dharma is Bhakti Yoga. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitata Jnanayat Yashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chaya Dahitukam. By rendering devotional service under the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from this world. Bhagavatam 127. To be situated on the platform of pure religion, one should perform bhakti yoga in relationship with Krishna Vasudeva. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganang Jana Shalakaya Chakshurumritamina Tasmai Sudi Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Maham Dharati Shva Patantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Shatardine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse begins with defining Rishi Karunikas Tasya, that the great sage Narada Muni was very merciful. This is the first characteristic of a devotee. This is the root of our Sankirtan movement. Without mercy, without compassion, you cannot do Sankirtan. You can't be part of the Sankirtan mission. It's all based on karuna, audarya. Lord Chaitanya's rasa, audarya. Audarya, we can understand, is the mature stage of madhurya. Because madhurya ras in its purest form is completely giving everything to the other person. Even Krishna does this in relation to Srimati Radharani. He gives everything. Even in relation, as I mentioned a few times, even in relation to Sudam Brahman, Krishna gave everything, and then he said, my devotee has defeated me. Krishna likes to be defeated by his devotee. He was planning it that way. He said, now he has defeated me because he gave me more than everything he had. Because he had nothing. He only had his own knowledge. He didn't even have enough rice to take to offer to Krishna, so he borrowed it. Therefore he gave more than he had. And Krishna said, therefore he's defeated me because I cannot give more than I have, because I have everything. So, in the same way, so audarya, although sometimes we think compassion is, some, quality of saintly people, and the Lord is certainly compassionate. But actually compassion is, when madhurya overflows, it becomes audarya. And so this overflowing of madhurya ras is the cause of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And therefore, it is the main characteristic in this Sankirtan movement for devotee to be merciful to others. Sometimes we have a tendency to be cruel toward others and merciful to ourselves. We should be cruel to ourselves, meaning we should do some austerity, some penance, some sacrifice. And we should be very merciful to others. Give them a chance. Understand, they may have so many bad habits. Sometimes people having so many bad habits, one will justify in one's mind, why should I preach to them? They're just full of bad habits. So, one should think that one has to always remember that I was also in that state. Sometimes some people in the mode of goodness have a hard time seeing that they were in a miserable state. There's mode of goodness, there's happiness. But actually, if one analyzes, that's the most dangerous position in the material world, to be materially content with knowledge or possessions or whatever. Because you have to lose it all. And to give up something is more difficult than to get something. You get something, that requires some effort. To give it up, that requires much more effort. So a devotee is very compassionate. And then pradad, pradad or pradat means he gave instruction, but pradat means he gave full. It was not just dat, it was pradat, full instruction. Otherwise, he explained everything. Everything that, of course, no one can explain everything. But because he's Narada Muni, because he's so compassionate, because he's such a great devotee, as Srila Prabhupada mentions in the last part of the previous purport, he said, Narada Muni was so great that he had this young woman staying in his ashram, alone. It's not that he might have had some helper or something, but he was personally instructing her every day. But he was actually instructing Prasad Maharaj. Therefore it says, dharmasya tattvam jnanam cha. That dharmasya tattvam, truth about dharma, he was giving that mostly to the mother, religiosity. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says in his translation, gave instructions on religion and transcendental knowledge. Religion, Prasad Maharaj didn't need. Just like it says that the Mahabharata is meant mostly for people who are not fully developed in their transcendental qualities. And therefore, a lot of stories and intrigue and a lot of, apparently mundane things, although nothing is mundane when it's in relation to Krishna. But it has more of that worldly aspect. Just like in Chaitanya Leela, Chaitanya Bhagavat has more of a worldly aspect. A little boy growing up. Chaitanya Charitamrita is pure, unadulterated, the highest philosophy. It starts out with the highest philosophy. And then there's some stories, but each story has such a profound meaning to it. Whereas Chaitanya Bhagavat is more instructive through example. So Narada Muni is alone, and Srila Prabhupada says he's not the only one. When somebody is on that platform, Haridas Thakur, he was also on that platform. He could be with Maya, but it doesn't mean we should think, well, I'm also on that platform. No. And therefore, I should know. One has to be acharya. Narada Muni is beyond acharya. No. His, who can fly through the sky and play a veena? And how many of us can go to the spiritual world and discuss with Krishna? No. So he's a little bit above us. Some people think maybe another 2 or 3 months I'll be there. No. Maybe in 300 lifetimes. And even then, we won't even be close. And Narada Muni, he's in Dasya Ras. He's not even on the platform of being Krishna's friend. And so elevated that he could do this. And when Srila Prabhupada was returning from one program where he spoke about celibacy, and devotees were glorifying him and saying, "Oh, Prabhupada, you are the acme, you are the pinnacle of celibacy." And Prabhupada got out of the car and he said, "Actually, I have so many material desires. Therefore, I keep myself busy in devotional service." So this is acharya. Even though he didn't need to be like, he didn't need that, but he was showing how important it is. So Prahlad Maharaj's mother, she gets instructions on religiosity, and Prahlad gets transcendental knowledge. He began, while his friends were playing, which is this chapter, is while the friends were playing, this is what he was doing. He was preaching to them, and they all stopped. Not only that, they all started practicing bhakti, and this is what was so disturbing. It was disturbing enough, but the reason the whole thing came to Hiranyakashipu's attention was that it was told to him that everybody and all the children are practicing devotional service. And he became very upset. It's like, I think I've told this before, but one devotee who I know very well, disciple of Prabhupada, he became a lawyer. He actually asked Prabhupada if he could be a lawyer. And Prabhupada said, "Better you preach to lawyers, then you will be preaching and they will defend. They already know. Why should you go study something they already know? Better preach to them." Instead of becoming a lawyer or a doctor, we go and preach to lawyers and doctors, and then they become devotees. Then they can give their service. Instead of spending 8, 7, 8, 10, 12 years. Medicine, you have to spend even to be a general practitioner, you have to spend 6 to 8 years. And if you want to be a specialist, 10 to 12 years. So Prabhupada didn't want the devotees wasting time. So he told him not to do it, but he did it anyway. And so then his son also studied law. His son. And so after he graduated, he said, "So would you like to join my practice?" And he said, "Or you can join somebody else's. It's okay, no problem." And just, otherwise, he was basically saying, "I want you to be my prototype. I want you to be a product of my, you'll be a better lawyer than me." And then, that's in one way glorifying oneself. Then I made you into a great lawyer. So but he said, "Well, I just graduated. Maybe I'll go spend some time in a temple, just to, so much study, so many years." He said, "Oh, that's fine. We'll speak in September." And so September came, and he said, "So, have you decided?" I said, "Yes, I've decided." Where do you want to practice?" "I want to be a brahmachari." He said, "What? Brahmachari? How will you maintain yourself? How will you, what will happen? What security will you have in life?" And he said, "My dear father, when you were a temple president, would you have said that to someone? No. You would have said, forget about all this study nonsense. No, just be a brahmachari." No. He said, "Well, yes, I guess I would have." No. But still, no. So even a devotee, can be bewildered by these positions and different types of misunderstandings. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj got transcendental knowledge. He didn't have to go through any other. Now this is all preparing Prahlad to be picked up by his father. Narada Muni gets along with everybody, even the demons. And he advises them, he counsels them. And he counsels them in how to be a good demon. Of course, it's mixed with transcendental knowledge. He's always tricking them. He's tricking the demons all the time, so they can either be killed or, just like Krishna also tricked Bakasura. He tricked him. And so sometimes transcendental trickery. Even the devotees used to do that in Sankirtan. And Prabhupada reluctantly allowed it because he wanted his books to go out. Because actually at that time, they couldn't publish the next book until at least 60% of the previous book were distributed. So therefore Prabhupada was very anxious that each book would be distributed very quickly. But then after there was a lot of bad propaganda, Prabhupada said, just speak about the merit of the book, they will take it. And they did. So anyway, then, Mamap Yudhishthira Nirmalam. And he especially indicated to me, Udishtam Nirmalam, transcendental understanding without any touch of material understanding. So, otherwise, he was again saying, to my mother he may have given some, general advice. But to me, it was all totally transcendental understanding. So Srila Prabhupada in his purport, he quotes the last two lines, and he says, Nirmalam means spotless religion, that that most religion that's practiced or preached in the material world is koitava. It's cheating religion. And therefore, to not be to not be bewildered by cheating religion, then Bhagavatam advises Parama. You come to the Paramahansa platform. It's not like we just want to be a Brahmin or, Bhagavatam doesn't say, you must become a Paramahansa. If you want to really understand the Bhagavatam, you must be a Paramahansa. Otherwise, you'll never understand it perfectly. You may understand it academically. You may memorize all 18,000 verses. Just like one devotee, he memorized Bhagavad Gita. He came to see Prabhupada. He wanted to tell him, Prabhupada, I memorized the whole Bhagavad Gita. So the Prabhupada's secretary said, okay. He said, I want to tell Prabhupada. So he went, Prabhupada, this one devotee here, he wants to see you. And, he wants to tell you. What does he want? Well, because he just memorized the whole Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada said, I don't have time. And so he went away. And then Prabhupada told his secretary, who told it to many devotees and me, that Prabhupada told him afterwards, what is the use of memorizing it and then you become proud? Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita is saying, don't be proud. And he's become proud that he's memorized, and he wants to show it off to the spiritual master. The Prabhupada said, therefore, why should I see him? He has already become so great. Why should I see him? And so Prabhupada was teaching something. So the same thing that here, spotless religion. Spotless religion means that we become immersed in the Shikshastika. And so then Srila Prabhupada says that real religion means returning back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise, in other words, we should not think that, or we should not take 50% Krishna consciousness. Know a little bit, and then look for something easy. Like many times I found devotees, they say they want to practice Raganuga Bhakti, but they don't really want Raganuga Bhakti. They want easy Bhakti. Just going out on Sankirtan, scrubbing the floor, washing the pots, cooking for the deity. This is all very difficult. Let me practice Raganuga. I'll just sit around all day and read a little bit, chant, and everyone will admire me. So, that's not Raganuga. That's Mayanuga. So, we want to practice Raganuga Bhakti. And Raganuga, what is Raganuga Bhakti? Actually, Rupa Goswami says it just means chanting the holy name with full attention. This is real Raganuga, that you have full attention. You're absorbed in the holy name. And he doesn't really get into 1, 2, 3, 4, this. It just means being absorbed in Krishna. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Shmaranam Padasevanam. That's when you're absorbed in it, when you automatically want to do it. You don't have to think, I should. When there's never I should, I need to, or it's better for me. No, the consideration is that Krishna is so wonderful. How can I do anything else? So, how does that happen? How does that stage of bhakti happen? Srila Prabhupada says in his purport that it happens by two things. Kumaram Acharya Pragyo. That when one studies Krishna consciousness from the beginning of life, so therefore we should, how much, by that statement, how much should we be investing in our children, in the children of the Krishna consciousness movement? Not just give them some ordinary education, but as it says here, this is like, talk about starting young. He's in the womb. Narada Muni doesn't waste any time. get them before they get contaminated, you know, in the womb. You know. And so also Shukadeva Goswami, he was educated in the womb, and therefore ladies, when they're pregnant and they reach the 7th month, they should read Bhagavatam every day out loud, so that the child chant Hare Krishna, and so that the child will become Krishna conscious. So that's one thing, and the other thing is Sabadamam Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. The other thing is that surrender to Krishna. So how do we do this? And then, Srila Prabhupada says, Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga. If you become absorbed in devotional service, which success in devotional service, not pariyad yadi ratim, you must develop attraction. Otherwise, shrama evehi kevalam, it's a waste of time. If you don't develop attraction, if in spite of reading and hearing and associating is very important. Here, Prasad Maharaj, he says that this is all due to the mercy of Narada Muni. So later on, in the 9th chapter, he says that evam jnanam nipatitam, prabhabahi kupe, that iha kupe, a well full of snakes, I was headed toward that. Kama bikama. One desire after another. Anuya. Papatam. Patam means hellish. Prapatam means extremely hellish. Prasangat. I was associating with hellish people. And then Krivat Masat Surarshina Bhagavan Grihita. And then, by the extreme mercy, oh my Lord, by the extreme mercy of Narada Muni, who here, he doesn't just call him a sage. He says that Ubayam Ishwara, he calls Narada Muni Ishwara. That he's so fortunate. So ham katam, by hearing that, to Vishujay, that tava britya sevam. He said, therefore, because he gave me this mercy and he saved me from following useless people to a blind well full of snakes, I was saved by the mercy of Narada Muni. Therefore, how could I ever leave him? Guru nishtha. Prahlad Maharaj teaches us Guru nishtha. How we appreciate the Guru by never leaving, otherwise never giving up his instructions. Not thinking these were instructions were for sadhana bhakti, now I'm in raganuga bhakti, so I don't need the Guru anymore. He was just giving me some sadhana, told me to go out on Sankirtan, he told me to, do these, and now I'm relishing the holy name. Just like there's one beautiful verse about the association of devotees. Because associating with the spiritual master is associating with devotees. One beautiful verse from the 4th canto. Beautiful. One of my favorite verses, which I forgot. That's an unfortunate thing about Kali Yuga, in my case anyway. So, this is by Dhruva Maharaj. I'll just say the translation. O my Lord, unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the nescient ocean of material existence, which is filled with waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent. So that's 4:9:11. So he's saying, by devotees who are mad to hear about Krishna, I have become mad. You know. Otherwise, we associate with mad people, then we become mad. You know, we become insane, insanely intoxicated, you know, by Krishna consciousness. Everyone wants intoxication, and our intoxication is Krishna consciousness. And the association of devotees is so important that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoya Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Prema Janme Tengho Puna Mukhya Anga. That the root of devotional service, of Krishna Bhakti, is Sadhu Sangha. And even in Prema Bhakti, again, the main activity is association with the devotees. We see 6 Goswamis sitting together discussing Krishna consciousness. So the association with devotees and the topmost devotee, the spiritual master, is the way by which we become absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And that's what gives us the power and the ability and the strength and the determination to do what we're doing in this marathon, to go out and distribute books in miserable conditions, just like it says, waves of fire, like waves of fire-like danger. Fire is definitely dangerous. You know, if you see a burning building, you don't say, "Let me go inside and take some rest." You know, very dangerous. You know. So, also we don't want to go into the material world and take rest. Allow the consciousness to sleep. Otherwise, it will bewilder us. We have to be fully awake in Krishna consciousness, and that way, our Krishna consciousness will be successful. So this marathon, this opportunity to become Krishna conscious, is very, very special, but it's also something that you have to take advantage of. Otherwise, you know, if you think, well, after some time, maybe later, right now I have some other priorities, then the opportunity may go away. We always have to see Krishna consciousness as a great opportunity that I have to grab. Otherwise, you know, it's extreme mercy. And if I don't take it very seriously and very enthusiastically, it can disappear. So the deities have opened. Gornita is telling us, go out on Sankirtan, go preach. You know. Actually, I'll conclude with this. Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles, he said during the marathon, he said, so when you go out, he said, Gornita is here, don't leave them in the temple. Take them with you. They don't want to be in the temple. They want to be out. So take them in your heart and go out and please them. Don't leave them in the temple. Otherwise, Prabhupada is saying, don't stay in the temple. Gornita wants to go out and you want to stay. So who are you following? No. I'm following Muchukunda. No. So anyway, these are some thoughts on this verse. Time is up. So since this is marathon, I won't extend it because otherwise I'll be guilty of stopping the waves of Sankirtan. So thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Srila Prabhupada.